is Olivia and Labonte, and I am the Executive Director of Young Diplomats of Canada.
Hi, my name is Max Seunik. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of Young Diplomats of Canada. And we're here in Johannesburg at Civicus for the Youth Parkour event.
And we have a lot of experience in terms of youth engagement, so just a little bit of background on what Young Diplomats of Canada does. We're a youth-led organization that's national, nonpartisan, and we work really hard to create meaningful engagement points between young Canadian leaders and decision makers to have more inclusive policy decision-making processes. Bit of a mouthful, but a really exciting mission that we're working on.
I think that youth participation in Canada is at a really interesting point in time. We have the government very openly supporting youth participation, and I think that is a sort of rare dynamic in when you compare it to many different contexts around the world. That said, there are still many opportunities to improve, and just because we see these spaces opening doesn't necessarily mean that they're the right kinds of spaces, or that they're facilitating the types of engagement that actually lead to meaningful outcomes.
So what we've noticed is that even though there is space at times and there's engagement opportunities, moving away from a tokenistic approach is the ongoing challenge, as well as the actual implementation and accountability piece. So there's a lot of really great work that's being done by Young Diplomats of Canada and lots of other youth-led organizations in terms of building really substantive policy recommendations that do get presented to leaders, but that implementation piece is always a challenge, making sure that it actually disseminates and that you're not just being listened to, but you're actually implementing these ideas.
And I think that youth civil society in Canada is also at a point of reckoning with itself, particularly in the context of Canada, where we are going through an official reconciliation process with our Indigenous peoples. Youth civil society in many ways is leading the way in terms of finding ways to broaden the scope of who's involved, who's at the table, and which kinds of young people are engaging in the types of participatory decision making that we're hoping to see more of.
Yeah, and really breaking down barriers as well. I think that's really important. Just because there's a space for engagement doesn't mean that everyone is going to have a seat at that table. So making sure that we're, including the marginalized voices, people in more remote communities in Canada, people that don't fit the traditional norm or these stereotypes of the types of people that engage in global diplomacy is really challenging. And I think that that's where organizations create really strong partnerships with grassroots, and together the youth-led organizations are able to really change and challenge the status quo and break down these barriers to have truly inclusive policy decision making.
And model the type of organizational and societal cultural norms that we'd like to see adopted more broadly. So I think we're at the vanguard of that, and hopefully in 10, 15 years these aren't going to be strange ideas, they're just going to be mainstream.
That's the hope.